I'm filming this from a cruise balcony with Belize behind me, and I want to say something I wish I had understood years ago. Rest is not laziness. And building income after 50 is not just about making more money. For me, it's about having more options, more breathing room, and a life that still feels like it can open up. Because if you have spent decades working, raising kids, carrying responsibilities, paying bills, building a business, helping everyone else, and doing what had to be done, you may have forgotten that you are allowed to enjoy your life too. Not someday, not when everything is perfect, not when every problem is solved, not when the house is done, the business is smooth, the inbox is empty, the kids are settled, the bills are caught up, and nobody needs anything. Because let me tell you, that magical little window, it may never show up. Sometimes you have to choose rest before life gives you permission. And I'm learning that. Slowly. Sometimes stubbornly. Sometimes with Steve reminding me, because he has been better at understanding this than I have. So today I want to talk about rest, online income, self-employment, business stress, and why I believe women over 50 should stop acting like wanting more freedom is selfish. It's not. It's human. And maybe, just maybe, it's necessary. Now, before we go too far, if this speaks to you, go ahead and like this video and subscribe, because I'm sharing the next chapter as I build it. Not as someone who has everything perfectly figured out, but as a woman over 50 building online income, learning as I go, and trying to create more options without burning myself into the ground. So yes, I'm on a cruise. And I know sometimes when people see someone on a trip, they make assumptions. They think, oh, that must be nice. Or, well, somebody's life must be perfect. Or in my case, if I post anything outside of dog training, there are people who seem to immediately wonder if the dog training business is going under. No, it is not. Our dog training business is still successful. It is still very active. It's established. It's still very much a part of our life. We're not quitting it. We're not turning away from it. We're not replacing it. But we are real people. And real people need rest. Even when the business is good. Maybe especially when the business is good. Because a successful business still takes a lot out of you. It still asks for your time, your attention, your energy. It asks for problem solving, your patience, your nervous system. And if you are self-employed, you know exactly what I mean. There's no real clock out button when you own the business. Even when you're not working, a part of your brain is often still working on the business. Did that client get followed up with? Did that employee do what they were supposed to do? Did that invoice get handled? Did that problem get solved? Did that message come through? What's happening tomorrow? What's falling through the cracks? And after a while, all of that adds up. And it's added up for us. The last few months before this trip have been stressful, terribly stressful. There's been a lot of pressure, business pressure, staffing pressure, mortgage pressure, camper life pressure. And I want to say this gently because I don't want to throw anyone under the cruise ship. But there were seasons when we felt like some of the people we were depending on were not carrying the responsibility the way that we needed them to. And when you own the business, that does not stay in a neat little box. It spills into everything. It spills into your schedule. It spills into your finances. It spills into your mood. It spills into your marriage. It spills into your sleep. It spills into your body. And I'm pretty sure that stress played a role in me getting shingles. If you've ever had shingles, you know that it's not just, oh, I don't feel great today. That's your body saying, ma'am, we've been trying to tell you something, and apparently now we have to yell at you about it. And I still kept working, because that's what many of us do, especially women over 50. We keep going. We push through. We do the thing. We tell ourselves, we'll rest later. And later keeps moving further and further away. It's been one of the hardest lessons for me, because I know how to work. I know how to show up. I know how to keep things moving. I know how to take responsibility. I know how to do what needs to be done. What I have not always known how to do is rest without guilt. Steve has helped me with that more than anyone. He understands that downtime is not wasted time. And I didn't always understand that. For a long time, I thought if I was not working, I was falling behind. If I rested, I was being lazy. If I took time off, I was neglecting something. If I stepped away, something might just fall apart. And when you own a business, that fear can feel very real, because sometimes things do need you. Sometimes you are the one who has to solve the problem. Sometimes stepping away does create complications. But never stepping away creates complications too. It just creates them inside your body, your mind, your attitude, your marriage, and your ability to keep going. And that's the part we don't always talk about. You can work so hard to build a business that you forget to build a life around it. You can work so hard to create stability that you never let yourself enjoy any of it. You can work so hard to be responsible that rest starts feeling irresponsible. And I think a lot of women watching will understand that. Maybe you've spent decades doing what had to be done. Maybe you raised kids. Maybe you worked jobs that you didn't love. Maybe you cared for aging parents. Maybe you supported a spouse. Maybe you kept a household running. Maybe you built a business. Maybe you kept showing up because nobody else was coming to do it for you. And now, when you think about doing something for yourself, even something small, a part of you feels guilty. A part of you thinks, who am I to want that? Who am I to rest? Who am I to take a trip? Who am I to build something creative? Who am I to want an online income? Who am I to want more freedom? And I want to gently tell you, you are allowed. You are allowed to want a life that feels good. You are allowed to want breathing room. You are allowed to want options. You're allowed to want income that gives you more flexibility. You're allowed to want creativity. You are allowed to want time with your husband, your family, your friends, or just yourself. You are allowed to want your next chapter to have some joy in it. Not just survival, joy. That's one reason I'm building Valerie Creates It. Yes, it is about income. I'm not going to pretend that money does not matter. Money does matter. Extra income matters. Options matter. And online income has already helped pay for this cruise. That's real. That matters. But it's not only about money. It's also about creative space. It's about doing something different from the dog training business. It's about using a different part of my brain. It's about creating content, learning new things, sharing what I'm learning with you, helping other women believe they can start too. And it's about building a life where we have more choices. I don't want to build online income so I can hustle 24 hours a day. I want to build online income so life has more room in it, more room for travel, more room for rest, more room for creativity, more room for saying yes to things that matter, more room for stepping away without everything feeling so tight. That's a different kind of goal. And I think it's important, especially for women over 50. Because a lot of online business content is still so hustle heavy. It's all about grinding, scaling, going harder, waking up earlier, doing more, making more, posting more, selling more. And there is a place for effort. Please hear me. There is a place for work. I believe in working hard when it's time to work. I believe in consistency. I believe in showing up. I believe in taking ownership. I believe in doing the boring things long enough for them to work. I believe in finishing what you start. I believe in building skills. But I do not believe women over 50 need another person telling them to run themselves into the ground. Most of us have already spent decades doing that. So the question is not, how can I hustle harder? Maybe the better question is, how can I build something that gives me more freedom, not just more pressure? That's what I want you to think about. Because if your online income goal only becomes one more thing that exhausts you, then we need to look at that. If your side hustle becomes another bossy little creature sitting on your shoulder yelling at you, then maybe the structure needs to change. Your next chapter should require effort, yes, of course. But it should also serve your life. It shouldn't just take from it. Now that doesn't mean the beginning will be easy. It doesn't mean you will never have to push. It doesn't mean you'll never have to learn frustrating things, record awkward videos, figure out affiliate rules, create content when you're not in the mood, or keep going when results are slow. You will. But the reason you are doing it matters. Are you doing it because you want more options? Are you doing it because you want more creative space? Are you doing it because you want extra income that gives you breathing room? Are you doing it because you want to prove to yourself that life can still expand? That's very different from just chasing money because the internet said you should. This cruise has reminded me of that. We knew we needed a break. We can't really do that at home. At home, the business is there. The chores are there. The animals, the calls, the messages, the decisions, the physical space, all of it is there. And right now, we're still in the camper, which makes everything feel even tighter. Living and working in the same small space while managing multiple businesses can make life feel like it is closing in on you. I had looked forward to getting into a home and having real space, a real office, a place where business and life didn't feel so tangled together. That's been delayed, and we're adjusting. We're making other plans. We're going to create an office in one of our outbuildings so we have a better setup while we wait. But the point is, sometimes you can't fully breathe in the place where all the stress lives. Sometimes you have to physically step away. And that's what this cruise has been for us. A way to step away. A way to regroup. A way to remember that we're not just business owners. We are people. We're a married couple. We're allowed to have fun. We're allowed to eat chocolate in Belize. We're allowed to snorkel in Honduras, even when the sea is a little choppy and decides it would like to fight back, which it did yesterday. We're allowed to swim with dolphins in Cozumel and get a great big splash from a dolphin named Moses. And let me tell you, Moses had some personality. We're allowed to sit on a catamaran, eat a traditional Honduran meal, walk through shops, and look forward to Costa Maya, even though we've never been there and don't have some elaborate excursion planned. Sometimes just walking around and seeing what's there is enough. We're allowed to enjoy the ship. We're actually doing a tour of the ship, and I'm looking forward to that too. And you know, those moments matter. Not because they're extravagant. Cruises can actually be a fairly inexpensive vacation compared to many options, especially when you need to truly get away. That's one reason we like them. We can unpack once. We can see different places. We can rest. We can eat without cooking. We can sit on the balcony and look at this beautiful water. And sometimes that's exactly what your nervous system needs. A balcony. A breeze. A cup of coffee. A little distance from the problems. And I know not everyone watching this is going to book a cruise. That's not the point. The point is not go on a cruise. The point is build rest into your life on purpose. Maybe for you, that's a weekend away once a quarter. Maybe it's one quiet Saturday a month. Maybe it's a day trip. Maybe it's turning your phone off for an afternoon. Maybe it's sitting by the water. Maybe it's a hotel night in your own town. Maybe it's time with your spouse. Maybe it's time alone. Maybe it's a creative afternoon where nobody is allowed to need you unless something is actually on fire. And I mean actual flames, not I can't find the ketchup. Whatever it is, you need some kind of rhythm where you can step away and regroup. Because you cannot be good for your business if you're always exhausted. You can't be good for your family if you're always empty. You can't build your next chapter if every part of you is burned out from the last one. I didn't understand that for years. I understood work. I understood responsibility. I understood pushing through. I understood doing what had to be done. But rest felt suspicious. Rest felt like something I had to earn after everything else was finished. But everything else is never finished. And that's why rest has to be chosen. Steve and I are aiming for a week away 3 or 4 times a year. That may sound like a lot to some people. But we work hard the rest of the time. And we've learned that if we don't step away periodically, we risk burning out. Our marriage benefits from it too. Because when you're always in work mode, always solving problems, always making decisions, always stressed, you can start to relate to each other like business partners only. And yes, we are business partners in many ways, but we are also husband and wife. We need time to be that too. We need time to laugh, to snorkel, to wander, to sit, to talk about something besides who didn't do what client needs help, what the business numbers look like, or what problem has to be handled next. That matters. And I think women especially need to hear this, but you men probably do too. Your relationships need some of your rested self, not just your responsible self. Your business needs some of your clear-headed self, not just your exhausted self. Your next chapter needs some of your creative self, not just your survival mode self. And that's another reason online income matters to me. It's not only income, it's also possibility. When I make money from Amazon Influencer, when I build Valerie Creates It, when I create content, when I learn affiliate marketing and AI tools and digital products, I'm not just trying to add more work. I'm trying to build more options. Options that may help pay for travel. Options that may make life feel less tight. Options that may give us more flexibility as we get older. Options that may help me create something that feels meaningful and enjoyable. And options that may help another woman watching this say, maybe I could start too. That matters to me because I know there are women over 50 sitting at home thinking it's too late. They think they missed their chance. They think online income is for younger people. They think travel is for people with fewer responsibilities. They think creativity is for people with more time. They think rest is for people who have earned it more. They think wanting something new at this age is unrealistic. And I do not believe that. I believe life can still be wonderful after 50. Not perfect, not easy, not without stress, but wonderful. Wonderful. I believe you can still build, you can still learn, you can still create, you can still earn, you can still travel, you can still rest, you can still surprise yourself. You can still become a version of yourself you haven't even met yet. But that won't happen if you wait for perfect conditions. It won't happen if you keep telling yourself you'll start once everything calms down. It won't happen if you treat your own dreams like leftovers. It won't happen if you work until you're too exhausted to care. So there has to be a balance. Work hard when it's time to work. Rest when it's time to rest. Build consistently. Step away periodically. Show up for yourself. Give yourself room to breathe. That's the lesson I'm taking from this trip. Not that life is suddenly easy because I'm sitting on a cruise balcony. We will go home to real responsibilities. The dog training business will still be there. The mortgage situation will still need attention. The camper will still be the camper for now. The office still needs to be set up. The content still needs to be created. The online income still needs to be built. The next steps will still require effort. but I'll go home better because I stepped away. That's the difference. Rest doesn't mean you're quitting. Rest helps you return. Rest helps you see things more clearly. Rest helps you remember what you are building for. Because what's the point of building income if you never enjoy your life? What's the point of building a business if it consumes every bit of you? What's the point of creating more options if you never use any of them? That's what I want us to think about, especially those of us who are wired to work, work, work. At some point, we have to ask, am I building a life, or am I just building a longer to-do list? That question hits me right in the chest, because I can build a to-do list. I can build 10 to-do lists. I can build a to-do list about the other to-do lists. But I don't want the rest of my life to be only tasks. I want to build something that gives us more freedom, more creativity, more breathing room, more time together, more ability to say yes to experiences. And maybe that's what you want too. Maybe you're not looking to become some flashy online personality. Maybe you don't want to chase trends all day. Maybe you don't want a giant empire. Maybe you just want more options, a little more income, a little more confidence, a little more purpose, a little more freedom, a little more room to enjoy your life. And that's valid. You don't have to justify that. And you don't have to wait until you are younger, because that is not how time works. You don't have to wait until you know everything. You don't have to wait until your office is perfect. You don't have to wait until every responsibility is handled. You can start building from where you are. Maybe from a camper. Maybe from a kitchen table. Maybe from a spare bedroom. Maybe from a cruise balcony with Belize behind you. Maybe from whatever real life looks like right now. Start there and let it be imperfect. But don't only build the income side, build the life side too. That's the part I don't want to forget. Because I can be ambitious. I can be driven. I can get excited about ideas. I can see the potential in Amazon influencer, YouTube, Substack, digital products, affiliate marketing, Pinterest, all of it. And I want to build all those things. I am going to build those things. But I don't want to build them in a way that steals the very life I'm trying to improve. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about starting something online, here's my encouragement to you. Yes, start. Yes, learn the skill. Yes, make the video. Yes, write the post. Yes, apply for the affiliate program. Yes, use AI to help you organize your thoughts. Yes, create the simple digital product. Yes, take the next step. But also ask yourself, what kind of life am I trying to build with this? Do I want more time? More freedom? More travel? More creative space? More financial breathing room? More choices? More purpose? Get honest with yourself about that. Because if you know what you are building for, it's easier to keep going. And it's also easier to know when to pause. That's important. Some seasons are for pushing. Some seasons are for resting. Some seasons are for regrouping. Some seasons are for building. Some seasons are for healing. Some seasons are for learning. And sometimes you need all of those in the same year, maybe even the same month. That's real life. So today, from this balcony, with Belize behind me, after a week of Cozumel dolphins, snorkeling in Honduras, chocolate tasting, walking around new places, and just having time with Steve, I want to say this to you and to myself. Don't wait until you are completely burned out to give yourself permission to rest. Don't wait until life feels perfect to start building something new. Don't wait until you have every answer to take the first step. And don't let anyone convince you that wanting more freedom after 50 is silly. More freedom after 50 is not silly. It may be one of the wisest things you can want. Because freedom doesn't always mean quitting everything and running away to the beach. Sometimes freedom means having enough options that you don't feel trapped. Sometimes it means being able to take a week away and know you helped pay for it with something you built. Sometimes it means having creative work that gives you energy instead of only draining you. Sometimes it means knowing your life is not over just because you hit a certain age. Sometimes it means looking at the water and remembering that you are still allowed to dream. That's what this trip has given me. Rest, gratitude, time with Steve, a little room to breathe, and a reminder that the next chapter is not only about income, it's about life. So here's your practical takeaway. Pick one thing that would give you more options if you built it consistently. Maybe it's affiliate marketing. Maybe it's Amazon influencer. Maybe it's YouTube. Maybe it's a simple digital product. Maybe it's learning AI so you're not so overwhelmed by the tech side of things. Pick one thing. Then also pick one way you're going to build rest into your life. Maybe that's a week away once a quarter. Maybe it's a weekend away. Maybe it's a day where you don't let work take over. Maybe it's a quiet morning. Maybe it's one small reset that helps you return better. Do both. Build the thing. Protect the person building it. Because you matter too. You matter too. And if this video encouraged you, please like it. And please subscribe if you want honest, practical encouragement about building online income after 50, using your life experience, creating more options, and starting before everything is perfect. And in the comments, tell me this. What would more freedom look like for you right now? Not somebody else's version, yours. Would it be travel? Debt relief? A real office? More time with your spouse? A creative outlet? A little extra income? A calmer life? I'd love to know. I really would. Because your next chapter doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It just needs to belong to you. You're not done yet, so don't start acting like you are.